Hello, this is Mrs. Samuels. Welcome back to my channel. Today we are going to go over some notes on the Pythagorean theorem. Last week we read a book about Pythagoras and how he discovered the Pythagorean theorem. So today we need to actually put some notes down in our notepad, so we're going to do that together. So first of all, in our notepad, we will see that we are covering a lot of standards today. So if this is ever challenging to you, this is why. We're going to be looking at a proof, and we're going to be using the Pythagorean theorem to find the missing lengths, and this is only working for right triangles. So here's a picture of a right triangle. It has this little right angle here. Something that I really need you guys to know is that the right angle always points at the hypotenuse. It always points at the C. So this is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. On our next side, the Pythagorean theorem, we're going to fill in these words. In any right triangle, the sum of the squares of the lengths of the legs is equal to the square of the length of the hypotenuse. And if you ever need to pause the video to take some notes, feel free to do that. And what that means is a squared plus b squared equals c squared. And I'm going to take you on a little tour in the classroom, show you where this is in the classroom. Hello everyone, hello. So we have this giant wall over here, and we see that right here, Pythagorean theorem, a squared plus b squared equals c squared, and this is that visual that we saw in our book. And when we say square, we actually mean to find the square, the actual square. So this, on this big wall, is where you can find that information. So let's do our first example. We are asked to find the length of the hypotenuse. So I'm going to first start out by identifying that the right angle points at the hypotenuse. So C is right here. So let's start out with the Pythagorean theorem. A squared plus b squared equals c squared. And let's fill in what we know. The A can either be 5 or 12. It doesn't matter. So 5 squared plus 12 squared. The only one that matters is the hypotenuse, this longest side, and that's c squared. And now I can do some math here. 5 squared is 5 times 5, and that's 25. 12 squared, or 12 times 12, is 144, and that's still going to be equal to c squared. I can now add these up. 25 plus 144 is 169. And that's still going to be equal to c squared. And now the part here that we are new at learning is the inverse operation to squaring something is square root. So I'm going to take the square root of c squared. So 169 is 13. So 13 times 13 will give you 169. Okay. Now in your packet there are two problems, this one here and this one here. I need you guys to pause the video for real, pause the video, and I need you to do these problems right now. So please pause. Okay. Please make sure you've actually paused the video so that you can try these on your own. It's super important. Now let's look at these and work through these. So the answer is 17 for number 1, and here's how. If you would like to pause the video to figure that out, you may. So please pause to double check your work or to fix your mistakes. Now for number 2, your answer should have been 1/2. The tricky part about this is remembering our fraction rules. So when we are multiplying, we can multiply straight across. So 2 times 2 is 4, 5 times 5 is 25, 3 times 3 is 9, 10 times 10 is 100. But the tricky part is when we go to add here, we need to have a common denominator, and that's why I multiplied by 4. And then we can add, then we can take the square root, and then we can simplify. Again, please pause the video if you need to copy this down or if you need to process through it. Please pause. Okay, next up, now we're going to find the missing length when we already know the hypotenuse. So we're trying to find out what this leg is. Okay, so that's a new vocab word, the word leg. The hypotenuse is C, that's the longest side. Both of these other ones are called legs. It doesn't matter A or B, both of them are legs. So now we are going to find the leg. As always, we're going to start out with this being our C. So 2.9 is going to be our C. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. Again, we're going to keep starting out with that over and over again until we get our final answer. Now let's fill in what we know. We don't know A, so we're just going to keep writing A squared. B is 2.1 squared, and our C is 2.9 squared. A squared plus B squared equals C squared. A squared, we can't do anything with that, so I'm going to continue writing A squared. 2.1 times 2.1 is 4.41, and 2.9 times 2.9 is 8.41. Feel free to work that off on the side. Double check that with a calculator, but make sure you know how to find those on your own. When we're squaring them, we ignore the decimal and then we just add that back in. Now I can circle my variable and draw my line because I want to get A by itself because that's what's missing. The inverse operation to addition is subtraction. So I'm going to subtract 4.41 from both sides. On this side, I'm left with A squared. $8.41 take away $4.41 gives me $4. And my last step, just like I did up here when I had C squared, the inverse to squaring is square root. The inverse to squaring is square root. So I have to ask myself what times what will give me 4, and the answer is 2. So the length of A is 2 centimeters. All right, now if you flip over in your packet, you will find the next page that has some examples. These two right here. Please pause the video and try these problems now. Okay, thank you for pausing and trying these on your own. Let's look at the answer to number 3. The answer should have been 30 for B, and this is how we got it. We started with A squared plus B squared equals C squared. I see that my C is 34 because the right angle is pointing at the C. So my A squared plus B squared equals C squared. 16 times 16 is 256. 34 times 34 is 1,156. I circle my variable, draw my line. My circle is my last step. The inverse to a positive is a negative, so I'm going to subtract 256 from both sides. So I'm left with B squared equals 900. The inverse to squaring something is the square root, and the square root of 900 is 30. So this is 30. All right, and to save on time, the answer is 4 for this one, so A is 4. And if you need help with that, let me know, okay? All right, guys, thank you guys so much. This is the video on Pythagorean theorem. We're finding out the hypotenuse. We're now able to find out the legs. Super good stuff. All right, guys, thanks. Have a good day.